ถัดไปนะคะจะเป็นหัวข้อที่เกี่ยวกับเรื่องของเทคนิคการใส่ type ให้กับ GraphQL ค่ะ Next is the topic of end-to-end type-safe GraphQL apps by Mr. Carlos Rufo from Spain, the organizer of GraphQL from Hong Kong. So please stay tuned. ตอนนี้นะคะถ้าพี่ๆท่านไหนที่อยากจะพักผ่อนสามารถเข้าห้องน้ำได้ตามอัธยาศัยนะคะสำหรับสปีกเกอร์ทุกท่านเนี่ยหลังจากที่เขาจบจากการพูดบนเวทีแล้วเขาจะไปประจำอยู่ที่ห้อง Q&A นะคะห้อง Q&A อยู่ตรงไหนก็คือออกไปจากเทเตอร์เราเนี่ยหันขวาก็จะมีห้อง Q&A อยู่นะคะ If any one of you would like to talk personally to each of the speaker once he or she finish the sections on the stage, there will be standby for every one of you on the Q&A room. The Q&A room is out of the theater. Turn right and you will see the room. Okay. Next, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to welcome Mr. Carlos Rufo from Spain, the organizer of GraphQL from Hong Kong.
Wow, that's incredible. How many people here? That's great. How's everyone doing? Come on, guys. Like, okay, I know this is after lunch and we're good, but how's everyone doing here? What? Okay, I have something for you guys today, so let me just start here. So before I introduce myself, I'm gonna go on I think it's super important, but I really wanna say kudos to JavaScript Bangkok, and thanks to you all, thanks to speakers, sponsors, organizers, but especially to you all, because without you, we couldn't be here. And I don't know if you have realized this yet, but I think we are around like 700, 800 people gathering together for a JavaScript conference. And I think, if I'm not wrong, we're in the largest JavaScript conference in Asia. So please, a round of applause for every one of you here. So great. A bit about myself. So I'm Carlos. I'm a software consultant. I'm the GraphQL Hong Kong organizer. And last year, I created the SpaceX GraphQL API. You can find me on the internet at swcarlosrj. I'm going to go super quickly with the slides, and we are going to just going full in live coding demo. So I'm going to go to a GraphQL intro for those that they don't know what is GraphQL yet. Then we're going to see why TypeScript loves GraphQL, and then we are going to do a server and client-side live coding. But before I start, I think we like text and we love stuff, but we like to have fun here, right? So we're going to start with some dev jokes. So you can go to the github.com/Kapoor and check a lot of super fun jokes. So my first question is, how do you configure a JavaScript bug? Any guess in the room? Nobody? So basically, you console it. And also, we can see this, right? Like, you are in your IDE, and everything looks great. It's Friday, 4 p.m., push to production. And then your CTO is calling you 7 p.m. Hey, man, what's going on here? Runtime error. So we're going to see later in the live con demo that how TypeScript is going to solve these problems. I have another question for you. Why do functions always break up? Any guess here? So basically, because they have constant arguments. This is not that good, but yeah. And yeah, I couldn't be here without this one. A title joke, so yeah. If you don't find it, you good, and you can go. Okay, and the last joke, and then we go through the demo. So what did the developer say to the repository? And I'm pretty sure that you guys, you have said this to your colleagues a lot of times. So it says, fork you. Okay. So, okay, great. So let's start with the intro to GraphQL. I have a question for you all. Please raise your hand. How many of you have you heard or just know about what is GraphQL? Please raise your hand. Okay, I cannot see that much in the top. Okay, I would say like a 40%, 50%, which is a lot. And now the second question is like, how many of you are you working with GraphQL in production in your companies? Okay, so it's like a 20% kind of. I'm pretty sure that next year is going to be like double, triple that. I'm almost sure. Great. So we're going to go like quickly through a what, why, and how GraphQL. So first, a GraphQL is a, and this is super important, please. It's not a library. It's not a fancy new framework. It's a language agnostic specification to build API. So please remember, if you don't know GraphQL yet, GraphQL, specification, and APIs. And you can see in the bottom all the language where you can implement a solution for creating GraphQL APIs. Next, again, it's important. GraphQL is not a library, it's not a framework. It's a graph query language to build API, where we are going to describe our data, we are going to ask for whatever we want, avoiding overfetching, and then we are going to get predictable results. Next, we are going to see the main features, which are it's strongly typed with the GraphQL schema definition. It is introspectable by specification. It's based in queries to fetch data, mutation to mutate data, and subscription to subscribe to data. It's efficient and reusable, avoiding overfetching and underfetching data. Transport are noticed, and it improves a lot the product development. Great. And here I left some resources to learn. I'm going to leave the slide later with a QR code, so please check it out. But before going into any framework or library, please check the core fundamental in GraphQL.org. It's super important to understand what is GraphQL and which problem solves in order to start using it. Why we should consider GraphQL, like if we compare with REST, for example. We have several topics. I'm going to go super fast. Type system, we have to define any single field that we are going to expose, but also its types. It's predictable by default, so we are going to be able to introspect those types and also reuse those types. We're going to see later all these topics in the live coding. There is two common issues that are overfetching and underfetching. Overfetching, let's define them, is fetch more data that the client actually needs. So as a client, I would like to ask for whatever I need and just get that, whether I'm in my mobile client, in my tablet client, or in my desktop client. Underfetching instead is fetch not enough data that the client actually needs. I think it could be really nice if we could ask for nested resources within our data sources and then return back all the data in one single server call. I would like to have a auto-generate, type, and always up to the documentations, and I would like to move faster with powerful dev tools. Great. How we are going to do that? We're going to see in the live coding demo in just 2 minutes. So now we're going to see why TypeScript loves GraphQL. TypeScript, if you don't know yet, is a superset of JavaScript that compiles to plain JavaScript. So JavaScript with types, and yeah, we want types, even if you don't like them yet. So TypeScript agree really good with GraphQL because it's start and ends with JavaScript. It contains such a strong tooling for large applications. Microsoft is backed from Microsoft, and GraphQL in the beginning it was backed by Facebook, and now both communities are working hard on it. And I would like to call it the state of art of JavaScript because every single week we've got new features and new companies and new single contributors creating really cool stuff around these technologies. So we would like to introspect our API with GraphQL, but also introspect our codebase with TypeScript. So we are going to have a single source of truth with our GraphQL schema that is going to contain all our types, all the types and all the fields that we are going to expose to our API, and then we are going to extend those types to both or the different layers of our application, which are backend and front-end side. And that's what we are going to do in the live coding. You see the type generator GraphQL Codegen is an open source library created by the guild, so anybody can go and just use it. And we are going to auto-generate the TypeScript type based on our GraphQL schema for both backend and frontend. So I think we good. Live coding, the agenda, we're going to see first what is a GraphQL API and how you can test it. Then we are going to jump into the IDE, see coding, real code, and see to the server first, and then go to the client. And we are going to be using the SpaceX GraphQL API. I know, because just I love Rocket. So I'm just going to go to my IDE, and we are going to start here the fun thing. I'm using Hotspot with my phone, so we're going to see how everything works. And I don't have much space here, but I can just do this. Awesome. So first, we're going to open the codebase. I'm just going to make sure that everything looks OK, great. So we're going to have the server and the client, right? So we're going to go to the server. We're going to go to our source folder, and we are going to open the index. So we can check here. We are going to have a a GraphQL server, and a REST server. That's going to be interesting. So before that, I'm going to just go to my server side, and I'm going to just execute yarn start. So we are going to run our server. Great. So we can see here two servers, the REST and the GraphQL. And it's going to be interesting because even if we are here to talk about GraphQL, I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. So I'm going to go to my localhost 4000. I'm not cheating anyone. Here you can see it. And I'm going to go to REST. And what is happening here is, well, let's get some rockets. I like rockets. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 rockets. And we are going to contain all the information. For example, this is I think it's the Falcon Heavy rocket. Probably here in the bottom, we can find it. So basically, what is happening here, if we go to our res file, is that within 34 lines of code, here it is, we are going to be able to auto-generate a REST API, fully typed and fully documented, only passing our GraphQL schema, which is just incredible. So I'm using this open source SOFA API in order to do this. If you have any question about it, in the slides, there is everything is open source, so you can go to the repo and see how it was implemented. But today we are here to talk about GraphQL, right? So in the GraphQL application, we are going to pass the node instance and also a configuration that is going to contain the schema and the context. So let's go to the context first. So the context is going to contain some utils, so it's going to contain some sorting, finding, and limiting functions, and also a database. So in order to you guys understand how we're going to do the live coding today, so we are going to be using a SpaceX MongoDB public database where we are going to connect with a MongoDB client, and we are going to just fetch data because it's React only. Great, so you can see here the URL. You can go later and just check by yourself all the tables and all the data. Great. And then we are going to check here utils, the types. We don't have just types yet. We have just the context, everything is any. And then we are going to have the schema, which is our single source of truth, and it's the most important part of our applications. So in the schema, we might see it that we've got capsules, and we've got launches, and histories, and missions, and rockets. So in the rockets, I'm going to go my type definitions. So as we have mentioned before, in GraphQL, we are going to define query entry points, where there are queries to fetch data, mutation to mutate data, or subscription to subscribe to data. And we are going to just specify which field we want to use. So in this case, if we want to fetch rockets, as we have done in a res, so / rockets, in GraphQL, we are going to specify the field name, but also which data we are going to return. In the case when we are asking for just one single rocket, we are going to get rocket, we are going to specify the ID, and that ID is going to be required, because it makes sense, right? In order to go to database with that ID, which is coming from the params, and then I'm going to just return one single rocket. And it's important because when you are specifying the data that you will return, GraphQL is going to ensure you that your API call is going to be valid only if those types match. And that's going to be good, and we're going to see later why is that. So then we can see that rocket is going to contain different GraphQL primitive types. As you know, in JavaScript, Java, C++, you can find booleans, integer, numbers, or string of text. Also, it could contain a GraphQL complex types, as for example, rocket first stage, right? Like we can go here and we can see all its subtypes, right? So, and you might ask, like, where this is, like, okay, you are going to specify that we are going to get rockets, but where these rockets they are coming from, right? So that's where now we're going to see where we are going to return the data in our resolvers. So in our resolvers, if you see here the codebase, we are going to have a query. So when we are asking for query, we are going to specify the different query fields that we have implementing in our GraphQL schema. And here in the rocket, you can see, like, I'm pretty sure that even if you don't know JavaScript, that you're in a JavaScript conference, and you are going to follow this. So we are going to get the context. We're going to get the database from the context. We're going to go to our rocket collection. We're going to do something kind of a filtering and finding, sorting, skipping, and limiting. We are going to convert to array, and we are going to return the data. And with the rocket ID, we are going to do kind of the same, only that we are going to get the ID that is required for our second argument in our resolver function, and then we are going to find by ID. We are going to get just one element, and we are going to destructure that element. So here we are going to get an object. So then, if we go to GraphQL, in order to understand, like, what is GraphQL, this is what you get. So this is nice because let's say that even I don't know anything about GraphQL at all, but I know that I can have a type system, and it's going to be introspectable, and I'm going to avoid overfetching and underfetching. So let's do like all of it in one. So let's say that I don't know what is going on here, but I know that doing control space, I'm going to have auto-completion about all my types, and it's going to be introspectable because I'm able to see everything. So I'm going to get histories, and from those histories, I'm going to get the ID, I guess. I don't know, I'm going to just try to find a name. There's no name, probably title. Then this history is going to be in the history table. Now I'm going to go to my launch table. I'm going to get launches for every single history, and then from every single launch, I'm going to get Rocket. And you're going to see how I'm accessing to all the different tables in my database, and I'm sending back just that one request. So I'm going to go to, I think it's flight, and this. I can even like create alias for it, so this is going to be a launch. Let me check, launch, and this is going to be a flight. And then for the flight, I'm going to get the ID, I guess. And then I'm going to get the name. That is going to be a mission name. So let's put name here. And then we're going to get a rocket. And that rocket, let me just autocomplete this, is going to contain a rocket. And that rocket is going to contain ID. And it's going to contain a name. And we can do the cost per launch, putting another alias. So now if we open the console here, we are going to see how we are going through all these different databases. So what is happening is a GraphQL. We are sending this smart query. We are going to the history table. When we are getting this data, we are, before sending back, so we don't have to do any extra like round-trip HTTP calls, we are going again to the database, we are getting all this information, and whenever it's ready, we are going to send it back. So we can check. This is going to be super expensive, so let me just limit to a couple of them, just 2 of them. And we are going to see here with one round-trip HTTP call, we are going to get, and we're going to go through different database tables, and get all this information, and get that stuff. So we are going to process all our data in our physical servers instead of going to different round-trip network calls to get that stuff. So you can see here one just round-trip HTTP call, and you are going to get a JSON, which is not type. And then we are going to see how we can extend the types to our front side and backend side, and the data, in this case, 2 histories, and you can see the launch and the rocket and all the information. I don't know if it's like big enough, but you can kind of see here. Great. So this is GraphQL. So avoiding overfetching, we've got a automatically generate a type, fully documenting, always up to date. And now we are going to see the tooling, right, and TypeScript. Cool. So great. Let me go back here. And now what we're going to do is evolve our API. That's, I think, what we do like every day, right? But before that, let me just show you guys that you can also do a rocket, but ID. And this is going to be a Falcon Heavy. And then we are going to just get the name and the ID, probably. Yep. The ID and the name. Awesome. That should be up. So we got the data back. And now we are going to just evolve our API. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to my Visual Code extension, GitHub extension, in order to check my pull requests. So I can see here that there is a pull request, which is called a, let me check if this is going to open. OK. It's add rocketByName query field. So I'm going to check out the branch. We are going to see the diff. This is the diff. We can see here that we have included a new query entry point field called rocketByName, that its input is a name. This is a string that's going to be required. But also we have see here that we have changed the ID from lowercase to uppercase, which means that we might have some problems. So let's what is going on here. So we can go to our type def again. We can see the new evolution of our API, and maybe we have to implement the business logic about this new query entry point field. Great. So before anything, I'm going to go back to my API. I'm going to run it, and I'm going to test. I'm going to just run my CI with all my tests in order to see that everything is working with my new evolution. And then we go back to the API, and then we can check that the rockets are working. Just let me copy this. And this is working. We're going to get like 4 rockets. And then we go to the rocket bar ID. It's pretty cool because GraphQL is going to tell me, hey, it's not ID lowercase anymore. It's ID uppercase. So I can just do auto-completion here and execute the query. And I'm getting a null, but I know that this data is my database, and that ID is correct. So what is going on here? So basically what is going on is, if we go to the resolvers, in the resolvers, we might see that we are accessing to ID lowercase. So we are finding for null. Finding for null is going to return null. So that means that we are exposing our APIs to millions of users. Let's say that we are Facebook or Twitter, Airbnb, with inconsistent state of our APIs. And this is going to lead to break a lot of applications. So we are in 2020, and we have solution for solve this problem. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the server. I'm going to run just GQL gen. So I'm going to auto-generate all the TypeScript type-base in my GraphQL schema, and I'm going to type my resolver in order to have auto-completion and run checks, checks in compile time in my codebase. So you can see here, we have a generate almost 5,000 types, and even if you don't like types, but your CTO is telling you that you have to use types, the first type that you want to use are those that you don't have to write at all. You are going to auto-generate them from your single source of truth, and from there, you are going to just type your codebase. So basically what we are going to do right now, in order to fix this, is go to the resolvers, and in the resolvers, we are going to just go to our query and do query resolvers, and we can see here the check. So that means if now I try to run again my API is not going to run. And that's great, because I don't want to expose my API where it's not consistent. And this is the desired. So now I try to go to the API, and this is not working at all. So in order to fix it quickly and jump into the client, so I'm going to just remove this, do control space. I'm going to get my ID. This is going to be, I'm going to find ID by ID. And then let's say that now I have to evolve my resolvers to include the new query entry point field that I defined before, which is rocketByName. So basically what I'm going to do is control space. I'm going to find rocketByName. Oh, it's here. Perfect. And I don't know you guys, but what I usually do in my day-to-day is just copy and paste stuff. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. And even I'm going to have auto-completion about the arguments from my new type, because I already generate its types. So I can just remove this, do control space. I'm going to get the name, and then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do just name. So now if I save this, if I go back and I run again my API, if I'm not getting any compile time error in my ID, it means that my API is going to be consistent. So now when I'm going back, if I reload, I can just check my Rocket. Now it's working, and then I can go to my rocketByName, and we can check that now this is name, and now we are gonna find for Falcon, let's say 9, Falcon 9, and then we can add I don't know, another field here, for example, active, and we are gonna get the data, and everything is gonna work as expected. That is great, and this is an incredible developer experience. So now to finish this talk, now I'm gonna go to the client side. Let me just go back to the initial step of the app and check the client in a bit, and then we are done here. So let me just go here, exit review mode, and then let's go to the client. And first we are gonna do jar and start, and then we can just go here and go to the client side. Awesome. We're gonna have just two files, index and app. If you don't know React, I'm pretty sure that you're going to understand this. So first, let's check the app. So we have an array where we are going to display all the launches for SpaceX. So we are going to have here the mission name, the rocket name, the description, and one image. And I don't know if you guys like SpaceX or not, you like rockets, but for me, it's just incredible what these guys are doing. You can see the scale of the car in the bottom and see the rocket, which is just, wow, incredible. So, okay, going back, great. So we got a Apollo client from Apollo Boost. We are passing the GraphQL URL. Then we are going to use the Apollo provider, passing the client instance as a prop, and we are going to just import the app using React.lazy. And then in the app, even if you don't know React, you're going to see here that we've got a HTML, JSX, and we got some data, and we are going to display the mission name, the rocket name, the details, and the image. Where this data is coming from, basically we are going to use query from Apollo React hook, and we are going to get the data. You can see here already it is any, so we didn't have type yet. And then we are going to have our query, right? So in order to finish, because probably I'm running out of time, what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to go to my extensions, activate the Apollo GraphQL Visual Code extension in order to have auto-completion inside of my IDE, which is just incredible because you don't have to jump into browser and IDE. And then, so basically what we have to do is go to Apollo config. We have to specify the GraphQL API URL. I'm going to save it. You're going to see here how we are going to load the schema and all the fields and the types. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to auto-generate all my types based on my GraphQL query. So I'm going to go to the client. I'm going to do send jar GQL gen. We are going to auto-generate the type. So we are going to see here if everything goes well that it's true. So we are loading the GraphQL schema. And yeah, let's hope that it's going to work. And so first, let's say that now I want to build my API. I don't want to check documentation. I don't want to do console log anymore. I want to introspect my API from my IDE and then auto-generate the types for it. So here we can see the types. And in this case, we've got a 500 kind of, but we can see our get launches with our launch paths and all our data here. Great. So basically now let's say that you are starting tomorrow in a new company and you're the front-end lead tells you, okay, you gotta display the ships. So I'm gonna show you guys how a production-ready application with GraphQL helps you to achieve a superb developer experience. So what I'm gonna do first is like do control space within my editor. I'm gonna have auto-completion about all my fields available in my API. So I'm gonna just look for ships. I'm gonna know that this is a complex type, so I might have to say ID, name, and let me check more. It's gonna be a port. Even I can create the alias for it, and then I'm gonna do an image. So now when I'm saving this, I'm gonna auto-generate the types for the new evolution of my query. So we are gonna see here, hopefully the types generated, and then only we have to go to our returning function. Here we are gonna set the div, so we can see the new ships with the information. And so basically now, you don't have to check that stuff, just to show you guys. But now what you can do just basically is, to finish this talk, is going to be do control space. You are going to find, hopefully here, you should find the ships. That is not for some strange reason. Because, OK, perfect. Before that, so let's say that we have this, and this is the same that we have in the jokes, right? So everything looks great, and you don't know rocket is 4 p.m., you don't know, man. And then you go to UI, it's boom, like exploding your face, right? So we can solve this because we have types for do that. So we are going to type our return data, and then we are going to have a compile time check in order to fix this, because you can spend hours. You are not going to differentiate between A and O. So you are going to just fix it, and then to finish this talk, I just going to click in control space. I'm going to have the shapes, and then I just can go here, and I'm going to get my shapes. I know that this is TypeScript know that this is a array, so I do dot, and I'm going to get all the functions that I can apply to arrays. I'm going to do some filter, and then I'm going to just map it, and this is going to be kind of a, let me check if I can do quickly, and this is going to be a div. And even I can introspect the complex type of the shape, so I can see here, doing control space, that I'm going to have the name, I'm going to get the port, and I'm going to get the image. Basically, in order to finish, I'm just gonna, don't forget the key. This is super important in terms of performance. And then we are gonna do an H2. This is gonna be the name. I'm gonna put here a bot, and then bot, and then we are gonna just finish. So name H3. This is gonna be the port, and to finish is gonna be the if I can do that, it's gonna be the image that is gonna contain the image, and then we are gonna do a width of a 200 here. So now when I'm saving this, if I'm not having any error in my IDE, means that when I'm switching back to the app and it's working, please give me an applause, because the live coding is difficult always with GraphQL and server calls and TypeScript. So now if I'm going back, everything should display as we have implemented here. So let's finger cross, and yes, we have here all the sheets for every single launch. Thanks. We can see all the ships here. Cool. So yeah. So that's everything for me. If you wanna learn more about GraphQL, there is an incredible meetup here in Bangkok. It's been running for a year and a half. This last week they've got a meetup and a workshop for free. They provide pixel, they provide everything. So go to meetup.com/GraphQL-Bangkok. For the new members, if you click you join, we are gonna raffle 2 t-shirts for free. And same, if you want to learn more, in 2 weeks, there is going to happen the GraphQL largest conference in Asia. It's going to happen this year in Bangalore, India. Like 500 people, 2 days of talk, 1 dedicated workshop, more than 25 speakers from around the world, PayPal, AWS, all the best companies. And yeah, it was a pleasure to be here with you. I'm really looking forward to meet all of you. I'm going to be around. Please, let's chat about GraphQL, JavaScript. I'm super fun about those technologies. So there you go, the slides. And if you have any questions, please reach me on Twitter at swcarlosrj. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Carlos. I told to my friends that you are as handsome like Orlando Bloom หน้าเหมือน Orlando Bloom ไหมคะ เหมือนเนาะก็โอ้โหเชื่อว่าหลายน้องๆหลายคนนะได้ไอเดียดีๆนะคะอันนี้เป็นเรื่องของการทำ GraphQL นะคะอันนี้มาจากคุณทางคุณ Rufo นะคะคุณ Carlos Rufo ค่ะ